Hey guys, this is Dempsey. Dropping in before the beginning of the episode to let you guys know that if I sound strange this episode, it's because I accidentally recorded from my laptop microphone instead of my actual microphone. So if I sound a little bit weird, you're not crazy. Now to the episode. Enjoy. Katie thought that Pennsylvania was in the Midwest, and I just feel like we really need to address that.
you. Wow.
Yeah,
The treachery.
Brutal.
I felt all of the tires of the bus go over me there. Thanks, mate.
That's what you get.
I needed good content for a cold open. Hello. Welcome to Overthinking Games, a podcast where we talk about what video games can teach us. My name is Dempsey, and my co-hosts are...
Katie.
And Seth.
Katie is a special education and language arts teacher. And Seth is...
a science teacher?
Okay.
Did we forget?
I don't know. Whoa, just
You
this is
introduced
someone's
Katie's job.
This is someone's. This is going to be someone's first episode.
Well, I'm just saying you introduced Katie with her job.
Oh.
I don't get my job announced by Dempsey. What's the deal with that?
Oh my god, Katie, would you like to introduce yourself?
No, I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
not high maintenance like some people.
Seth is a
True.
earth science teacher on the East Coast. He introduces
And
himself
also oceanography or something.
Yeah, something like that. He introduces himself as an East Coast educator almost weekly, and that apparently flew over Katie's head.
Look, I teach English, not geography. Don't come at me, bro.
So today's topic is going to be multiplayer gaming. We have an email, actually. We're going to get to the email as soon as we're done with what we've been playing this week. So let's start with Katie. Katie, what have you been playing this week? Katie gave me a thumbs up because I did a good job. I just want everyone to know that I had validation with my transitions.
And I'm trying not to touch my table because Dempsey complained that it makes noise every time I do. So we're all taking our notes. Let's see, what have I been playing this week? I started playing The Forest with my brother on my Steam Deck. And so far, I'm not even really a couple hours in because we just kind of ran around. But so far, it's Subnautica in a forest with cannibals instead of sea predators. And it's terrifying. And the dark is extremely dark. There's a day-night cycle. Let me tell you what this game is. Sorry. I'm ahead of myself. So it's like Subnautica where you're exploring and you're building a base. You've crash landed in this forest. And when night falls, it's pitch black if you don't have a fire. And the cannibals will come and try to kill you and eat you. So it's like really stressful base building. It's been pretty fun. Have either of you guys played that game?
When you said sea monsters, for some reason I thought you meant mediocre monsters, like they were sea students.
Sea, yeah, okay. Take the man's mic away.
Is it a horror game? Because Subnautica was too scary for me to finish.
Subnautica is a horror game, in my opinion.
Yeah, is Forest a horror game?
The Forest is, I think, also kind of a horror game. We're both chickens, so we made a joke that we are chickens in the spooky coop, because it was super scary. Don't shake your head at me. You have no room to talk, Dempsey. But yeah, so it's like very collector-y. You go around and you get like materials so that you can build different things, and you want to you have to build a fire and you have to build a shelter in order to save the game. You have to find food and water, and you're trying to find, I think we're trying to find a way out of this place. And instead what we're finding is terrifying cannibals who run at you like Gollum in The Hobbit or something. It's really scary. So yeah, that's what we've been playing. That's my co-op game. And then I've been playing Return of the Obra Dinn. I started over on that one because I keep trying to play it with people and nobody in my family is interested enough to actually keep coming back and play it with me. So I was like, fine, I'm going to play it by myself. and it's been good. The Return of the Obra Dinn is a mystery game where you can like kind of psychically see people's last moments, and it's all black and white still frames, and you are trying to piece together what happened to all of the people on the Obra Dinn. I kind of feel like somebody said, can we make a mystery that's just about inferencing? Yes, we can. And I think it would be a really cool, like, advanced reading game to do, like, to bring to an advanced reading class to work on inferencing, because it's so fucking hard. It's like it doesn't come out and tell you anything. And there's so much where I'm like, okay, this guy's face is unblurred, which means according to the game, I should be able to figure out who it is. And I have absolutely no idea. So I've got my notebook and I'm taking notes and I'm bookmarking things, and it's a whole process, but it's been really fun. What have you been playing, Dempsey?
I don't think I've played any other games besides Baldur's Gate 3.
Besides like 23 hours of Baldur's Gate?
No, well, way more than that. That was 20 hours over the course of 2 days with a friend. But on my own, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. And then it came out for the PS5, which is what my friend plays the game. So we started it over and played it for the PS5. There are some games that affect me very deeply, and yet I cannot talk about, like, well. And I think that's what Baldur's Gate 3 is. Because, like, there's some games that I can, like, say interesting things about. Like, On Guard is a game that I can talk about how the mechanics make it a swashbuckling adventure. Or, like, I Am Dead is a game I can talk about. Or, like, Outer Wilds. Or, like, there's so many games that I can, like, feel like I have something to say about. And, like, I can put my experience into words. But, like, there's another, like, type of game, like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring and Tears of the Kingdom, that they're just so big and there's so many systems. I just do not have anything intelligent to say about them. I'm very happy not giving much commentary on this game. It is so good. We've played, so this will be my second playthrough with my friend, and like the story is like wildly different. Like it's not the same experience at all. It's like, as far as like intelligible things that I can say about it, just like the replay value is like like it's so off the charts of like how your experience differs. Even like minor changes in this game will like cascade into like super different experiences. But like, I don't know, like everything's so seamless. It's like polished to the point of a mirror, and I can't like grab onto anything to talk about because like the combat's really good, but like I don't think about the things that make a combat good. I'm afraid that this is what parents mean when they say that kids play stupid, mindless video games, because we can't talk about what makes them good. Like I have nothing to talk about. So like, anyway, it's a very good game. I like it a lot. It's very horny. 5 out of 5.
Do you think that the reason why it's so hard to talk about is because it does everything so right that you can't identify like what's right about it? Like when you read a paragraph or a story or whatever, and the grammar is perfect and the structure is perfect and all the things are perfect, it's harder to critique that than when you have something where things are not quite where they should be, because we recognize when things are not right more easily than we recognize when things are right. We don't know why it's right. We just know that it is. But when it's not right, we can pick it apart more easily. Does that make sense?
I think that's part of it. Like if there were things I would like, there's some bugs and stuff like that, but it's a giant game that's been out for less than a month. So like there's going to be bugs for the next year, and that's, I think, acceptable to some extent. It's still playable. But like there's other games that I think are very perfect that I can talk about for hours. Like I can talk about Outer Wilds ad nauseum, and I can talk about like Florence, which is a much small. So I think the problem is it's too big and there's too many things. I think the thing that I love about indie games is they usually center themselves around like one or two ideas, and then like it's a 10-hour experience with that like one idea, and like then I can talk about it. But Baldur's Gate is like so many things that are always happening, and like there's just not one central idea that I feel like I can talk about. It's very good. It's so fantastic to play with a friend. And we'll talk about that more. That's a little sizzle. for later. Seth, what have you what have you been playing?
Not too much. I was on a trip this weekend, so that took up a lot of my time. Before that, Armored Core 6, the most recent FromSoft game, just came out. Big mech game. Very fun, very customizable. I think it has one of the best like character creators of any game I've ever seen. It has like crazy Black Ops 2 emblem creation, which gives you like a ton of different options for that, which is insane. Everything can be colored, like you can select the colors for individual parts on your mech, and it gives you like a full like RGB color picker. So you can just make stuff look like whatever. And it's all shareable too. Like you can just press a button and it gives you a share code so you can share it on the internet.
That's cool.
Which is like insane. And I haven't looked recently, but I'm sure people are going to be posting about their like insane mech builds till Kingdom Come. So that's pretty exciting.
Is it the Animal Crossing of the mech games? In the way that people always make stuff for Animal Crossing and then they like share their codes on like the Animal Crossing Reddit, and people are like, how did you make that amazing like path texture?
Okay, so I do know what you're talking about. But for a second there, I was really like thinking about Animal Crossing, but with like big mechs. And
like,
just
how
like
unhinged is she?
Yeah, just like I really hope. I'm just imagining like an armored core coming in and just like blasting apart like Tom Nook.
Down with capitalism.
Yeah, it's actually pretty in flavor for Armored Core, so
Tom
keep
Nook's
that
not
in
a
mind.
capitalist. He doesn't
Nook's
charge.
not a capitalist?
He doesn't charge interest. He's not making a prof. He's not making a profit off the loan.
I think given the opportunity, he would. Let's be honest.
But he like buries you in debt. Everything is overpriced, so he's not charging you interest because he's already charged you 3 times what
Dempsey,
it
Tom
actually
Nook's
costs.
a landlord. You're out here supporting landlords on this podcast?
He's not a landlord because you're not renting. You're buying.
And then well, okay. I mean, he gives you a mortgage. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of...
Yeah, but it's like he's
He's
of
a
why we have
landowner,
housing
okay?
crisis.
What?
Because he's why we have he's one of the reasons
He
why we
has
have a
all of
housing
these
crisis.
homes that he's built, and then he makes you pay
Charges
exorbitant
million bells.
mortgages for... Okay, anyway.
on their cruddy island that doesn't even have any infrastructure.
If like multi-billion-dollar corporations like sell homes instead of rent them, we'd all be better off. Tom
True.
Nook is like not that evil. I don't get the Tom Nook hate. I stand Tom Nook. He's a homie.
Yeah, clip that one, put it on TikTok.
Yep.
Art for the algorithm.
Seth is angry at me for selling my soul to TikTok.
I'm just memeing.
That's true.
Otherwise, I was playing some It Takes Two with my girlfriend, which was a lot of fun. She's like
Gross.
I don't know if I would describe her, if she would even describe herself as like a casual gamer. Like, she's played games before. She's played some like Tomb Raider and stuff. So, like, she's played games, but it's not, she would never identify herself as like a gamer. But she
She's
enjoyed
not a
like,
capital T true gamer.
yeah, she's like a lowercase g gamer. So, but she enjoyed, It Takes Two as a game. It was fun for us to like play together. Part of the problem is I just have like, I feel elitist saying this, but like, It Takes Two is not like a complicated game. I don't think it's like designed to be. And pretty much like the entirety of It Takes Two, I like look at a puzzle and it takes me about like a half second to be like, oh, this is how you solve it. And then I don't want to like let her sit there and like figure out like how to solve her part as I like sit there and like know how to do it. So I feel like a lot of the game is me just being like, oh, hey, like shoot that thing over there. And just like walk with having
Robbing her of her learning experience? Are you kidding me?
Well, no, like
What
I
kind of
don't like
teacher are you?
I don't like take the controller and do it for her, but I'm like,
You just give her the answer.
well, like I
Rob
don't tell
of
her
the
how to
joy
do
of
her part,
discovery.
but like it's a shared game experience. I just like know how to do everything.
I was gonna make a joke defending Seth, but I will not do that now.
See, clip that one and put it on TikTok. That's some
Yeah.
good
Yeah, that's
engagement
going
right
on
there.
TikTok.
I don't know. Anyway,
Do you
It's a fun game.
do you hate the book in It Takes Two?
No, the book is so funny. I mean, it's like it's intended to be like a pickup artist character, right? Like he's not supposed to be like a super likable character other than the fact of that he's like parodying something that's like pretty funny. So, plus the accent's way too good, so
I have It Takes Two, like, so my mom bought It Takes Two during the Steam sale, and I got the, like, friend code, but we're both on Steam Deck, and I don't know what the deal is, but we can't figure out, you have to be on the, like, the gaming platform. I think it's the EA or whatever company it was. You have to, like, log in, and then you have to invite each other through that. Like, it wouldn't let us invite each other just through the Steam Deck. I don't know. I feel like this is a Bethesda situation where maybe we missed the prompt.
I just play local couch co-op, so I don't,
okay.
yeah.
I've
Over my place.
Yeah, I've also played that game like 4 times, and each time has been through local couch co-op.
Okay. I wonder, can you connect two like PlayStation controllers to a Steam Deck?
Yes.
Probably.
Okay. Well, that might solve our problem. Because it's been frustrating to the point where we just haven't played it. And I want to. So
Anyway,
I'll try it.
that's about it for games I've been playing. So
Nice.
Dempsey, back to you. What do we talk about today? Or the email?
We have an email sent to us by an actual human listener. I think Katie has it.
I have it. Yes. I was so excited. I was like, I told my husband, I was like, we got an actual email. I was so excited. I mean, we've gotten a few emails, but it's, this was the one that I was not expecting. So I was excited. And the email writer gave us permission to share. So I'm just going to read it real quick. It's from Taylor. Hello, Overthinking Games. My name is Taylor. I'm an office manager at a college library. While I don't teach the students or interact with them on a regular basis, I am an avid gamer and love listening to your podcast. 1, I would love to hear all about Seth's perfect Pokemon game, as well as his favorite Pokemon. 2, Katie has by far the best taste in video games. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate that. I would love to see your zoo in a TikTok or YouTube video. I played Zoo Tycoon so much as a kid, so I love hearing about it. 3, please keep making fun of Dempsey. It makes me laugh because who the hell plays Elden Ring without getting stronger? To which I replied, don't worry. What did I say? We will never stop making fun of Dempsey so long as his favorite way to play games is terribly.
Okay.
Okay, so then she says, okay, now on to the real questions. As a woman gamer who mostly plays by myself or close friends, I would love to hear your thoughts on the gaming community. For example, I play COD Zombies with a friend, and I have so much fun just the two of us. We played with 2 other random people online, and they were talking about how bad we were and how much we died. Do you think that the sometimes toxic community affects what people learn or take away from games? Do you think that this idea people have of the video game community being a place for bullying causes kids more harm than what they could potentially learn from games? How can we make this community better for everyone and include everyone in gaming? Thanks. Play some cozy games. Thank you for that email, Taylor. That was so nice. So
Woo.
sweet. I appreciate that you think that I have the best taste in games. I think so too. And I think your question is like perfectly timely for our topic this evening. So thank you.
Yeah, so I want to talk about Taylor's question, especially because we each interact with multiplayer games in different ways. And I also want to talk about, because this is a topic week, about like the similarities between group work that we assign students and playing a video game with someone. So I have the least amount of academic input into this. So I'll just kind of get rid of my thoughts and like the different tiers maybe, or the different ways to think about multiplayer gaming or quote unquote multiplayer gaming, just to kind of give some vocabulary to how I was thinking about this conversation. So there's like, I think there's like tiers to multiplayer gaming. There's like, and they all center around like, I don't know, like just games with other people. So like the bottom tier, like the least, I don't know, is like the least engagement is like uh, a single player game that you were watching with someone. I'm including that because I think that does affect the experience of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
me playing through Red Dead with someone watching me is different than me playing through Red Dead by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then one level above that is when you play video games with just one other person. So like It Takes Two is like almost a prototypical example of that because that game can only be played with one other person. And there's not like online matchmaking or what like that wouldn't make sense for It Takes Two at all. Um, and then you have like and I think that also includes like games that you could play single player, but when you play with someone, it changes the experience. Um, Baldur's Gate is a really recent example for me. So I played about 40 hours of Baldur's Gate by myself, and then over the past 2 days, I've played 20 hours of Baldur's Gate with a friend in co-op, and and like just two wildly different experiences. Like what that game is capable of, and like solving problems together with a friend that has their own unique build. And there's so many fun boundaries in Baldur's Gate 3. So like for example, if you're playing online, I cannot see their character sheet. So like what they have in their inventory and like what specific spells and stuff like they have to keep track of that stuff and I don't have access to that, which makes the teamwork so much more deep because like I'm like, do you have anything that would increase your movement? Or like,
That would be hard for me. I
and
want
so
to know what everyone has.
yeah, and so like that has been like the way that that forces communication and like strategic planning on like a like such a like they I can't just be like, oh, I know you have that, look, let me have that. I have to explain to them the whole idea so they can understand my vision and then see if they have any items or ability that support my vision or vice versa. Like when they have an idea, I have to have a pretty intimate idea of what they're trying to do so I can, because there's so much shit in Baldur's Gate. Like it's fucking insane how much shit they let you do. Um, like like anytime you can do like hundreds of things on any given turn. It's wild. Anyways, and so Baldur's Gate, and then we have games like Far Cry, which have optional co-op. We have games like Dark Souls and Journey, which have optional co-op. And then above that, we have like multiplayer games like Warzone and Fortnite and MMOs and games like that that are made only to be played with other people. There's this weird like paradox of that, I feel though, that like they're made to be played online with other people, but they're not. This is my opinion. This is a big Dempsey's opinion. I don't feel like they're made to like support the same kind of like communal thinking or like problem solving that games like It Takes Two does. Where like that you're intimately involved with your other player. I guess maybe I'm not good enough at those games to necessitate that kind of strategy.
No, I think you're right. If I can jump in, I think with games like It Takes Two, you require the other person in order to make progress. In certain multiplayer games that are like Call of Duty or something like that, you don't necessarily need other people, and it often turns into just kind of arcade mode, and it just happens to be that the people that you're mowing down are controlled by other people. But I think there are certain games like the squad-based games like Warzone or maybe to another extent like Overwatch, ones that require teamwork in order to be successful, that you do see more of that communal situation. You can see more of that communal situation, but you can also see a much higher level of toxicity, like what Taylor was mentioning, where because you're relying on other people, the opportunity to be really critical and awful comes up more so than if you're working with just one person in something like It Takes Two.
Also want to note that even on a higher level, right, like a lot of the examples we just gave there with first-person shooters, if you look at something like MMOs, a lot of MMOs really are designed for like the guild social aspect, where oftentimes, like if you've ever heard about like a raid in World of Warcraft or something, it's intended to be like group strategy, right? Like it's not designed to be done solo. Sometimes it can be, but that's usually content that you have to have people working together in order to solve, and it would just be impossible for one person to do on their own.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think this will be a conversation where I get to learn about those multiplayer games because they are not
Sure.
typically what I interact with. And then on like a level above that, or like another level, I don't know why I'm tiering this, but like on on another level of like community gaming is like the meta or the like conversation or the community around the game. So like whether that's like the Souls fandom or like the people who are really into Hollow Knight or like whatever communities that pop up around video games, I think that's another level of having to navigate communities in order to enjoy games. And so I think like those are all levels in which we use community, whether that's your spouse or your girlfriend or just one other person, or whether that's like reading an IGN article and interacting with the comment section, through all that. And then when I was in my education program, I loved project-based learning, and a big Katie stuck her tongue out. And a big part of project-based learning is group activities. And I think there's some genuine parallels about how like doing an activity with another person or two is very different than doing an activity by yourself. And the kind of lessons that you are capable of learning change. And that's appropriate for all situations, whatever. Just kind of to add that an opportunity for a little bit of an educational bend. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I do not interact with multiplayer games that much. I much prefer to game with like one other person at a time. There's lots of people in my life that I have completed co-op games with. Like I've done Take Two with like friends, and It Takes Two with like friends and family members, and but I do not interact with like I don't know, but like multiplayer games very often.
As much.
Yeah, I do not. They scare me.
Oh.
And so if you guys want to kind of give your thoughts on how you like to interact with the multiplayer aspect of games.
Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, so I think part of the trouble here is a lot of the games I'm usually interested in, which is a lot of like the roguelite or Metroidvania genre, usually tend to be single player games. So I don't often have a lot of opportunity to engage in multiplayer in a lot of those aspects. But I'm also a big From Software fan. I really like all the Dark Souls games, loved Elden Ring. And those are games that kind of have multiplayer built into them in a few different ways, whether that's some sort of like direct multiplayer in a cooperative fashion. There's a lot of fun in the Souls games to say, hey, I have experience beating this boss, like I want to jump in and help somebody else try to do their best, try and beat a boss. That's a lot of fun to do. Makes me feel good to like help somebody who's having trouble and they're specifically asking for help. I don't know if that's like the teacher side of me or, what it is there, but that's fun. Invasions.
Oh, yeah, you have to ask for help in a Souls game.
Yeah.
That's very sweet. Okay, anyways, sorry.
We'll analyze that in a second.
Okay.
The other side of the Souls games, though, is like Invasions, which FromSoft is actually sort of keyed away from a little bit these days. But the idea that like somebody's just playing the game and then you hop into their world and try and prevent them from playing the game is also very fun. It's a very interesting experience for those games.
Is it fun for you being invaded or just fun as the invader? Because I think if someone invaded me, I would get real pissed. Like, go away. I'm trying to stop bullying me. That's how I would feel.
Part of there's a lot of different like community commentary on this. My thought for invasions is you really need to just think of them as they're just part of the world. Like, imagine it's not really any different than if there was a 1 in 10 chance every time you sat, at a bonfire that like a really hard enemy would pop up in the next area. That's realistically all it is. I think people get frustrated because it's another person, and they don't
Feels
view
personal.
it just as like something naturally part of the game state. Especially because you could just go offline and then the person disappears. So, but I think if you think of it more like it's a part of the world and it's a part of the way that you naturally interact with the game, it feels less frustrating. But also, I think it contributes to the Dark Souls realization that like any individual run really doesn't matter, and like the next time you go through it, you're going to do better anyway. So if you die, who cares? Like your souls don't really matter. You're going to get like way more than you need to over the course of a game. So, but invasions are a lot of fun in Dark Souls for a lot of different reasons, and true in Elden Ring as well. What did I want to wrap back to? I was talking about, also, I think something really interesting, and we actually didn't talk about this before when we were talking about multiplayer, is the Souls games and FromSoft games often have asynchronous multiplayer. The fact that you can leave messages for other players and say like, hey, there's an invisible wall here. Or you can say like, hey, jump off this cliff for reward, and it just kills the other person when they jump off the cliff. That is an incredibly important part of the Elden Ring Dark Souls game experience to me, and it's completely asynchronous. But that's a active community aspect built into the game, and I think it's so many like memes about the Souls games come from the messages and like the asynchronous experience of multiplayer. And that's everything from like, just like a random skeleton on the ground that has a message next to it that says like, don't give up, skeleton. Like, because it looks like he's trying to like crawl out of the ground, to like, the series of messages that say ridiculous stuff like, oh, hey, jump off a cliff here. There's an invisible wall here. To any, random memes. People say like dog next to turtles because it's funny.
Finger butthole.
Yeah, or like,
that's the one I was thinking of.
try finger butthole. Or there's even some like really in community ones, like Dark Souls 2 has like the death tunnel, where like a bunch of people just like purposely die in the tunnel in the first area in the game, so it looks like you're about to walk into a really hard boss, but then it actually just leads to like the hub area and there's no danger. So the asynchronous multiplayer aspects of games, I think sometimes are underrated, but are also critically important.
Yeah, it creates a shared experience for every player that goes after it, and that is super cool.
Does Armored Core have any asynchronous elements like that, or is it a completely individual experience?
No, and see, Armored Core is very different than the Souls games. It's mission based, so there's no open world. And there's really not a lot of multiplayer outside of like choosing to do the arena, which is like PvP combat.
Gotcha.
Or it's not called the arena. That's for like something else. I don't know, but it's called the nest or something ridiculous. So, Armored Core is a very different game experience. That being said, it's important for me to remember that like I'm a new person to the Armored Core series. Like there's 8 or 10 Armored Core games that came out previously in FromSoft's history. And all of those were from like before they did Souls games. So they're all like ancient history as far as I'm concerned. Which just means they came out before like 2009 or something. Like it's not that long.
What number
ago.
is this Armored Core? I thought it was 6.
This is Armored Core 6, but that's complicated on the fact that they have like 8 games or something.
You'll have to do a TikTok video on the lineage of Armored Core.
I'll let VodiVidya do that. There's people. I've only played one game. I'll make Pokemon TikToks or something. Anyway, pitch it over. Katie, what's your multiplayer experience?
So I have a mix of experience. Multiplayer was probably my first gaming experience doing co-op on Battlefield 1942 on an old PC with my family. And we had 4 computers and they were all set up in what was originally a dining room. And we turned it into our gaming room. And we played LAN, like LAN connected, against bots. And I was like probably 7 or 8. And that was my introduction to co-op and shooters. And it created a lot of really special memories growing up playing games with my family, to the point that for me, single player games are really best experienced with other people. So I am always trying to get like, hey, this is the game. Like, do you guys want to play with me? Do you want to take turns? Do you want to watch me play? Like, what way can I make you part of this? And for a lot of the time, my family are really, really, I can't think of the word I want, but basically like they spoil me and they'll play with me.
They'll humor you.
Yes, thank you. They'll humor me. So that's how I played Her Story. That's how I'm playing The Witcher with my husband right now. Just usually, I'm a control freak, so I usually play, and then he usually watches. But I'm trying to be good about taking turns. But it's just really special to me to have that shared experience there. When you're done with the story of the game, you have somebody who experienced it with you and you can talk to them about it and they understand all of the emotion and struggle and, all of the things that you can't get just from hearing about the game, which makes it really special to me. But I really love co-op games. I play co-op with my brother pretty frequently. And I like games that have a mission or like a reason. So Minecraft wasn't quite it for me. I'll play that if I have my family there to tell me what to do. Hey, we need more wood. We need more stone. I can do that. But I really am enjoying the forest because there's a mission. Like we need to make a fire. We need to make survival gear so that we can make it through the night. And I really enjoy that kind of teamwork based gameplay. So he'll go and search for like whatever material he needs for, like he'll go search for food and I'll go search for wood and then we'll meet back at the campfire, that shared mission I think is really fun. You have a general mission. You want to get out of the forest. You want to survive. And it's fun that you have to work together to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. I also really like any kind of story game that's co-op. Like I played a game a couple years ago called A Way Out. And it's about two people who break out of jail and are on the run together. And it wasn't like the best game ever, but it really stuck with me because I played it with my husband and we had shared, like, we were able to talk about it afterward. Like, could you believe that that's what the twist was? Like, could you believe that's how they ended it? That sort of thing. Even though it wasn't great, it was still a really fun and special experience because we got to have it together.
A Way Out is made by the same people who made It Takes Two.
That's interesting. Huh. That tempers my interest in It Takes Two. Actually.
It Takes Two is so much better. I've played both. It Takes Two is like leagues better than A Way Out. Like not even comparable.
Yeah, because the way that, I won't spoil it, but the way that A Way Out ends is real shitty. It's terrible.
No, It Takes Two is absolutely 100% worth playing.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I'll probably try that out with couch co-op next. Then my other area or arena of multiplayer experience is on online gaming. I've been an online gamer since I was probably about 14 when I first ventured into the world of Xbox 360, like Xbox Live gaming. The first game I played online was Gears of War. And I was 14 and my brother was 18. And I remember being on mic and people being absolutely disgusting to me and saying like really inappropriate things to anybody, but especially like a minor child, because I was a girl. And I remember my brother sticking up for me and like, he's such a like kind of a quiet guy, doesn't get mad very easily, but he like that really upset him to hear people talk to me like that. And that was both of our first experience, I think, really with like online toxicity. But I loved it. I just love, not the toxicity, but like playing online. I just love toxicity. It's my favorite. No, I loved Gears of War so much that I didn't care. And I just kept playing with liberal use of the mute button. And from there, I played Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, the original, and discovered how fun that arcade run and gun game is. And then I didn't play online for a long time until I started playing Warzone. And Warzone is the best online multiplayer game that I've ever played because it's squad-based, so you're playing with a small team. And I find when you're only playing with 2 or 3 other people, that people are not so bold in their interactions with you. It's not like you're on a team of 6 or 8. You're on a small team, and if you're an asshole, like, it's going to affect the gameplay. And so, because, like, you need me to give you my self-revival. I'm not going to. You're a jerk. We have to work together to, like, flank the enemy. And if you're being a ding-dong, I'm going to let you die, you know? So I think there's more accountability with the small teams. And so that's been better. I've run into much less crap since playing on smaller teams. But I do turn off like prox chat and stuff like that, because as soon as you hear somebody, like as soon as somebody hears a female voice on the internet, I don't know what happens to them. They like lose their minds though. And all of the civility goes out the window. And it's like, because I'm anonymous, I'm not on their team. It's like the stuff they say, I'm like, would you ever say that in front of your mother? I don't think so. It's absolutely bizarre. So yeah, I turn that off because it's scary. But for the most part, I feel like it's a great way to play the game.
Proximity chat's one of those like super interesting things to me, because I feel like it's like the video game multiplayer topic, or not topic, like feature that I think has the most potential for like incredibly interesting video game experiences and like incredibly fun and like interactive experiences. But it's also like, yeah, like batshit insane, and like the average person, and really I think it's probably like the average man between the ages of like, I don't know, like 14 and like 85 should probably like not be given the ability to like just speak openly in public to other people.
No, I don't think so. I think yeah, I think that most people are nice. It's just that like we're like with Taylor's question about toxic gaming communities, there's something about the anonymity of it that sometimes I think there is this expectation that people have, like if they're playing an online game, well, you're just shit talking, like that's what you do. Like, what do you expect? This is Call of Duty. To the point that like you hear little kids, like sometimes I run into like little kids that are like 11 or 12, and they either are super like vulgar and rude from the get-go, or they're so shocked that grown-ups are being nice to them that they're like, can I be your friend? Can I send you a friend request? We should play again. And I was like, oh boy. Okay. Like, you sweet summer child. Nobody is ever nice to you on this game, are they? And it's like this, they're being taught to be that way by older gamers, and then becoming that as they become older gamers.
Yeah. And I think it's probably a self-selection bias as well. Like, to some extent, the only people who play those games are the people who are willing to put up with it. And so, like, if you are not interested in putting up with that, it makes those games a lot less appealing. So, like, the selection pool self-selects for that.
I'd also say there's probably some self-selection in, like, the kinds of people, well, and this isn't necessarily true for all games, but, like, the kind of people who, like, solo queue into games are probably more often, like, the kind of people who can't, like, find other people to play games with, probably because they're, like, yeah, they can't keep friends. This is so I play a lot of like Warhammer. I don't play like a ton of Warhammer 40K, but like I play Warhammer 40K. And this is like a conversation topic that's come up with like, you know, like the kind of person who has to go to a game store to play is like sometimes like the kind of person who just like can't keep like a group of people to play with at home. And
there's reasons.
Like, and that's like a gross oversimplification. And it's certainly like not the case at all game stores. And like I also play a lot of the Magic the Gathering where I have to go to a game store to play because like the people I used to play with aren't around anymore and I just enjoy playing Magic, but I also do put up with some like insane people at the game stores I go to. Whereas like Warhammer, the only times I've played have been with like my two best friends because they're both into it. So like we don't go to a store, we just go hang out at the one guy's place. The kind of people that like can't do that because they can't like hold friends that well. It's like not usually the kind of people I want to play with. Now, but again, like there's plenty of cool people at game stores. Don't get me wrong.
I think
I gotta justify myself.
I feel like some of that though is like stemming from like late arrival to a hobby. Like if you get into Magic the Gathering or Warhammer as an adult and you don't know anybody who's into that, or even like Warzone, you go into it as new to the game, you have to like there's a bit of a searching period while you find people that you meld with
100%.
and you have to put yourself out there or else you just play alone forever.
And these are like communities of people who enjoy a game. So there's always like a wide range of people that are in a community and who are interested for a lot of different reasons. But, you know, going back on sort of like the Call of Duty idea, right? Like if you there's I think a bit of a self-selection process for like people who are on the internet who are kind of just like terminally online assholes where like pretty much the only time I've ever been playing like a first person shooter and also been in a voice chat has been like when I'm playing with other people. Every other time I just have everybody else auto muted because like I have no interest in talking with random people on the internet about stuff.
Yeah.
And like hearing what they have to say.
I feel that way about like a sort of more standard like team deathmatch style game. But if I'm doing something like Overwatch or Warzone where like team strategy is key, like what I enjoy about those games, especially Warzone, Overwatch, I haven't learned the mechanics of well enough, but like with Warzone, I enjoy the strategery, so to speak. I enjoy that you have to like positioning is so important in that game and you have to communicate with each other so that you can move effectively as a squad. And I really enjoy that level of that extra level of strategy and gameplay. If everybody mutes their mics, like it sucks. It's not fun at all. Yeah. But I also hear I'm on a like a gaming subreddit for girls and you see it all the time. People say like, oh, I just don't turn on my mic. I just keep my mic muted. I don't talk, you know. And that like fills me with frustration because as a woman in a male-dominated gaming space, if I don't talk, people will continue to think that I don't exist in the space. And then there's never any space for me there. So I refuse to not talk because I deserve to be there. And what I'll do is just mute people if I need to. That's kind of my take on it.
I'm very glad we have Katie to send to other podcasts. So Katie was on Smashing Time Games, and she was able to talk about video games. What?
Smashing Game Time.
Smashing Game Time. There we go. Which Katie was able to talk about, which we'll link in the description. But she was able to talk about like cool video games. It was she was able to talk about like gamer video games, which was such a good look for us.
Don't mind like the majority of our time is to like weird indie games.
Yeah.
We're both. Why not both?
so I think like Katie was talking about, do you think like the type of game, like the mechanics of the gameplay have a big impact on how toxic a gaming community is? Like when you said like Overwatch is more collaborative and so like people are less cruel to each other?
No, opposite. They're more cruel to each other because they have an expectation that's not being met when other people don't play well, or they think they don't understand their own role very well. And so they're like, healer, why can't you heal me? And the healer is like, the fuck, dude, what the hell are you doing? You just ran in and tried to solo the whole other team. What did you think was going to happen?
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like really important for everyone to know what their job is, or else there can be frustration.
Okay.
And I have to be honest, like, I'm much better than I used to be, but I am what my family calls an alpha gamer. So if I'm playing a board game with somebody and it's like a collaborative, okay, so like if I'm playing Pandemic and we're like deciding, I'm really bad about like playing other people's moves for them. Like, oh, you should go here and do this and do that and then I'll do this, this, and this. And then they can do blah, 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 blah. And I've really, as I've matured and aged, grown up, I've really pulled back with that. But I had to do the same thing with Warzone because I would get so competitive. I love to win, just in general in life. I want to win. And on Warzone, it's such an adrenaline rush when you're doing well. It is so much fun. And the endorphins when you win is unreal because it doesn't happen that often, at least for me. And so I would get to a point where I was the toxic one, like yelling at my mom or whoever was. Usually it was my poor mom. She's put up with a lot from me because my expectation wasn't being met. And I realized that A, my expectation is bullshit. And B, if I want to have my family play with me, I have to be a nice person and and deserve that companionship. So I've really worked on myself to not be an asshole when I play Warzone. But I don't consider myself an asshole in general. And so like the fact that it's so easy to be hypercritical on games like that, I think speaks to kind of the high like adrenaline level, and you get super into it and you're not thinking about your teammates as people because you're just thinking about the fact that you want to win. And that can kill the fun of it. I think people get super tied into that, and that's part of the toxicity. Plus, if you're playing with people that you don't know in real life or that you don't play with regularly, then it's a lot easier to be an asshole because you don't have any accountability.
I think what I want out of a multiplayer game is not a goal. I think I want something that facilitates a relational experience. Like, It Takes Two, for me, playing It Takes Two is fun because there's a relational experience in seeing how beautiful the jellyfish turtles are that you go into the squirrel's nest to see. And like that's a very cool moment when you're like, oh, look at this like lighting design and look at like the production design in this game. Or like when you go in the snow globe world and you get to like fling yourself around using magnets and ice skates. Like the idea that we are achieving a goal is secondary to I get to experience this fun world with a friend. And the same thing in Baldur's Gate. Like Baldur's Gate does have a lot of combat in it, but for me the combat is only a means so me and a friend can watch we can try to fuck our boyfriends is kind of how I treat the combat in Baldur's Gate. Like the combat is like a fun puzzle inside of a dating simulator, I think.
Right.
And so like, but it's fun to like play this like, this fun horny dating simulator with my friend, or like even playing like Far Cry. Like I'm really glad that Far Cry did not take more strategy. It's just this like sandbox where you can get to be a god with a machine gun that mows down like all the peasants. Like, and I think like how I play multiplayer is like I have no interest in the goal other than like maybe interesting puzzle solving, but mostly what I am looking for is something to facilitate that relational experience. I think that's because like I'm not very competitive, and also like I don't know. I think that's and so like co-op online games like the dwarf game. What's where you're mining
Deep Rock
rocks?
Galactic.
Yes, like that's such a cool idea. Where like you like squad based, but you're not like fighting other players. You're like mining rocks. Like that feels like more of an experience.
I love that. Yeah, I actually agree with you. Outside of first person shooters, that's very much the same way that I'm like a different person when I go on Warzone. I don't know. It's where I get all my aggression out after teaching middle school all day. But I agree, like that shared experience is the main reason that I play games at all. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I think like facilitating that is a big reason why like I wanted to do this podcast in the first place, was so I've people that I know that I can talk about my video games with on a semi-regularly basis is a big reason why why I even started and wanted to do something like this. Um, I did, yeah. Um, we're kind of getting there. Like this conversation has gone a little bit long, so we will come back to this in more specific terms. Um,
Eventually.
yeah, we'll circle back to this. A friend of mine who listens is like, you guys always say you'll like come back to topics. You guys never finish talking about topics.
We're only on like episode, what is this, like 12 or something? So
We're never going back to anything.
I think we'll circle back. There's so much to talk about.
So we had our first email today. If you have opinions on co-op gaming or multiplayer gaming, then we would love to know how you interact with games and the gaming community. I think there's inside of this topic, there's a lot of things that I would want to talk about more specifically, like how aesthetics impact gaming culture and like gaming. Like, so that there's this like cozy MMO that's coming out, but the fact that there's a lot of pastels and rounder character models and like that it has a cozy vibe impacts the perception of this MMO, where it's not going to have like the same perceived toxicity as like, some other MMO. I don't know. I can't name MMOs.
So you want to do an art episode?
Specifically art and gaming community, because I think that's like a more specifically, like I think Fortnite and Call of Duty have different communities,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of that is because one, you're cartoon characters, and another one you're like pretending to, it's like hyper realistic. And I think people usually do not take Fortnite as serious as they take Call of Duty, right? Is that the vibe?
Yeah, I mean,
it depends on what you mean by take serious, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you do see a lot of toxicity in any of those battle royale games because the competition is so like fierce. Because you're going through attrition. But I do agree with you though. I think you get a younger crowd with Fortnite, and so you get a different kind of community. Not necessarily less toxic, but perhaps more juvenile.
Okay. I don't know. I've never played Fortnite before. I just kind of assumed. Anytime I hear people talk about Fortnite, though, it's always in like a cheery way.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Games are cheery, right?
Yeah. Most of them.
Okay. So email us. It'll be in the show notes. You can also find us on TikTok at Overthinking Games Podcast, and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And Seth, you want to close this out? And we've all said something.
Games podcast. Join us next time as we talk about
Spooky October.
That's Spooky October.
Spooky October.
Yes. So
we got Spooktober coming up.
Yeah, I am a pumpkin heart woman at heart. Pumpkin spice. Yeah, I'm a pumpkin spice woman at heart. And so
yes,
we are leaning heavily into the fall vibes. And so we're going to be covering spooky skeleton games in the next couple weeks. I messed up some of our episodes, and so it might spill over into like the end of September and also the beginning of November. Our spooky season might be a little longer than the regular spooky season.
I knew you would confess. I knew you could not keep your shame to yourself. Oh,
but I think talking about spooky games like the last week of September is acceptable. Though.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
That reminds me. I am streaming Soma on Twitch, and we'll put my Twitch in the show notes. So I'll be talking about Soma as part of spooky month. So if you want to follow along and see that fun scary game, you can do that.
Okay, Katie is currently streaming Soma. She will probably still be currently streaming a game, but we record these like 3 weeks in advance. So,
but the Let's Play will be there. The VOD.
The VOD will be there. Mm-hmm. And you should follow Katie on Twitch anyways. Because she'll probably be streaming something else by the time this comes out. Maybe.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. That was a very
Okay.
clunky ending.
Oh well. Thanks.
Yeah, you know.
Bye.
Okay.
Everybody,
Bye. Bye.
I don't have anything. I need to think of like I need to like pre-plan my like ending bit. Because I can the only thing I think up of every time is just drink your Ovaltine. That's like this is the only bit that comes to mind.